You were talking about the kind of spiral nature of weave, and that is one of the ways that spirit has trained me over the years about keeping time in the eternal now, that we don't keep time to a 24-hour clock like we do in, the realm of the human. Weave is something that we may not even know where a weave started until the weave comes back around again, like you were talking about in that spiral. And we actually have another phenomenon of that tonight, and it's happened, I think this might be the third or fourth time since we started this in November, where a certain frequency will come back around, and I'll have that niggling as I'm like doing the meditation, like we've been here before, like we've already talked about this. And I'll go back, into the little sanctuary notes, and sure enough, it will show me exactly where this frequency first showed up. And one of the beautiful ways of kind of keeping time, both personally in our weaves, but collectively, is to notice where our weave is kind of giving us these clues, because it will do so. We'll notice patterns and cycles. If anyone has ever been on Facebook, the fact that it'll show you your past memories. And I remember back when I used to be on there, and these memories would come up, they were almost exactly to the day of another weave that was in parallel to what was being shown, and it might have been 10 or 12 years prior. So it was a way that my outer weave, my outer world, was reflecting my inner world back to me. And this keeping time in the eternal now, the energy that came up today actually goes back to episode 6, which was called Recognize the Hijack. And that was on December 27th of 2021. So if the themes of tonight resonate with you, that is a good episode to actually go back to, because there may be other gems and nuggets that spirit has brought forth that were relevant then and are also relevant in this now moment. And that's the beauty of working with the fifth density, fifth dimensions, and beyond, is that things come back around in a really felt sensory way, and they give us the opportunity to see it and feel it with new eyes and with new felt sensations, while simultaneously kind of being gentle with ourselves, because often it feels just as intense as it did, the other times that it came around. So there's a feeling on the human level of like, man, like, did I really, like, I thought I learned this lesson and here it is coming back, around again. But in reality, from spirit's perspective, we are coming to that point from a much more expanded perspective. So the major theme tonight was the magic of belief. And spirit really wanting us to understand, especially in this frequency of 2022, how belief is necessary for what we want to create next. If we have doubts within ourselves, or if we have doubts within the collective weave, we are not the kind of the strong needle that's needed to be this conduit of grace that is being asked for, being called forth. And specifically, the frequency that came back around was the Merlin consciousness, which is the divine masculine energy of magic, alchemy, justice, and balance. And you'll hear me mention the word justice a lot tonight from spirit. That was like kind of the underlying theme, or the underlying energy within this greater theme of the magic of belief. And spirit wanting us to know that through this Merlin consciousness, we have a new start, that it merges with the earth mother and the heavenly cosmic mother to give birth to a new consciousness on the planet and within each soul. And last week we talked about that wake up moment, and spirit brings this up again in this call, this collective wake up call that is happening from 2022 roughly to 2024. And spirit says the mind virus gets louder than ever, and there are many traps that are available for us to fall into. So we are really encouraged to have eyes to see and ears to hear. Well, what does that mean? It means having the inner sight and the wisdom to stay in our presence, because that is what's going to lead us to our true level of discernment. And the final lyrics to kind of just the beginning of this magic of belief is, I'm feeling down, but I'm falling up, and I'm breaking out, but not out of luck. And this feeling from spirit that the human the human personality might be feeling down, but in reality, we're actually ascending. We are falling up and we are breaking out of these patterns that have been conditioning us and that we have just kind of been habitually perpetuating. But we are not out of luck, no matter how hopeless or dire things may seem at times. In fact, we are only just getting started.